Hi, my name is Jillian Hebel, and I am a first grade teacher at Leola Elementary in Conestoga Valley School District. And I'd like to talk to you about formative assessment and the 7 strategies and how I see that in my classroom. Sometimes I'll admit I have to Google what formative assessment is because I do it every day, but the name for it sometimes escapes me. So it's both formal and informal assessment used by the teacher to guide the instruction and modify the activities based on the student needs. Formative versus summative assessment. Formative assessment happens throughout the student's learning of the topic, and it helps the teacher guide their instruction, while summative assessment happens at the end of the unit to see what the students retain from the lesson. The 7 strategies are listed here. Some of the strategies I'd like to point out are clear and precise goals for the students, showing strong and weak work, and providing examples and times for the students to track, reflect, and share their work. Clear and understandable learning goals is strategy 1. So at the beginning of the unit, let the students know what they're expected to know by the end of the unit, or the end of the lesson, or even the end of activity. What should they be able to do? So I see this in my classroom as at the beginning of every lesson, I let the students know what they will be learning throughout the day, and what they should know by the end of the lesson. The learning targets are posted on the classroom wall, and then worksheets. Strategy 2, using examples of strong and weak work. Provide them examples of students' works from the past, what's expected, and what it looks like if they put in the least amount of work. Set your expectations high but attainable. I see this in my classroom as a lot of times we honestly provide teacher examples for first graders, what it should look like at the end. Going forward, I hope to keep examples of student work so that they can look back at an example of actual kid work. Strategy 3, descriptive feedback during learning. Talk to the students about their work while they are working. Guide them to meet their goals and let them know what they should be working on. Where are they now? Where should they be? And how can they close that gap? Strategy 4 is self-assessment. Let the students take ownership of their learning. Teach students how to set goals and evaluate where they are in the process of meeting their goals. Self-assessment in the elementary classroom is a little different, especially in first grade. I end up using at the beginning thumbs up, thumbs down, if they understand the topic, if they don't understand the topic, and even sometimes I put a sideways thumb in if they think they get it but they know they need more help. Determining the next steps is strategy 5. So you create a feedback loop with the students by talking to them about their learning, if they need further instruction, and when they feel they are ready to move on to the summative assessment. In first grade, this is happening during the student conference time, maybe for writing or for math conferences. I hope to build this in as a part of their self-assessment and their group rotations in math and reading groups. Strategy 6. Focused instruction and feedback. Narrow the focus of the students to their specific learning area and what they need to do. Provide them with practice work on that area and discuss it with them. What can they do to fix their learning goal? How I see it in my classroom is I see it a lot in my small groups. For example, I have 4 math groups. Each group's instruction is different. As a whole group, we learn the math strategy or topic at hand, and then we're broken down into smaller groups, and they each learn a different group. Strategy 7 is track, reflect, and share. Have students reflect and track their work with their peers, teachers, and parents. Learning portfolios, graphs, and charts are a good example of this. I see it in our classroom. We track our extra math scores on a graph. Students are able to see their fact fluency and how it grows throughout the year. Students are also able to look at their weekly writing journal, and they see how they do throughout the end of the week. Overall thoughts on formative assessment, I think it's very important to have in your classroom, and it should be able to use to guide instruction. It shouldn't just be, worksheets. It can be a little project. It could be talking to their peers. 2 of the most helpful strategies that I found in my classroom are providing examples of strong and weak work. A lot of the kids, especially now when we use teacher work, want to match our work. They really, really strive for that. And putting it all together, 7 strategies have opened my eyes to various ways that I can help my students in their learning more than I thought about before. I'm excited to see this go into place in my classroom in the next couple of weeks, and I'm excited to see how it affects their learning throughout the school year and beyond.